So give a hand to Bartek Legięć.
Alrighty. So hello everybody. So we'll be talking about taming LLMs, and actually we won't really be talking about how to speak 010001, but we'll actually talk about JSONs. I guess it's a little bit less catchy. So we'll be talking about JSONs and how to make LLMs talk with you using JSONs. So one thing. Yeah, okay. Now the UI won't hide. Okay, so. Okay, so without further ado, we want to create an app, and you are a director of a TV series starring Steve Irwin, the guy from the Crocodiles, and we'll give you a list of animals and create an outline for an episode. And there might be a few ways to implement it. Let's say we want to do it with LLM and have like a chat thing. So that's a prompt, and we tell it to reply in this format. So this has to be a title, an episode number, some locations, and whatnot. And then at the end, we kind of try to give it some info that, hey, do it for sure. So return only the JSON. It will be directly interpreted. I will tip you if you do good, but I will kill your mother if I don't. That's one of the tips I heard that is good for prompts. So I added it. And then what did it return? Sure thing, here is your response. And then the JSON. So that's a thing that I've had multiple times already. That like, it does give you the JSON, but it's not exactly the JSON you want, or add something else that, hey, it wants to be nice, but it isn't. So what's the solution? So this will be the first thing. But the other thing is structured outputs. So that's basically the whole talk about structured outputs. So it's technology from OpenAI that allows you to specify how do you want to have the whole output. So it will be for sure a JSON that you give, and OpenAI implemented it in JavaScript with Zod. So basically you create a Zod schema. Zod is a library for creating validation functions. So basically you specify that you want an object and that it has a title, episode number. And there's also this cool thing called describe, which doesn't really affect how it's validated, but then it's a nice info to AI on what exactly should it be. So yeah, so I'm Bartek, and I'm a developer at FrapDogs, recently Chaps, which I'll talk briefly at the end. And yeah, I do a lot of different stuff. I like going to WarsawJS since 2016. I checked, it was the first entry in Meetup. And yeah, and that was structured output, and that's how to make AI talk with you just with JSON. But that would be pretty short talk. So what I wanted to do is dive a little bit deeper and actually how does it work and what OpenAI is using, and actually not only OpenAI, how do they do it? So there is a warning that this talk contains a lot of JSONs and or technologies that may cause discomfort and or convulsions in people with love for XML. So listeners' discretion is advised. And there's the cursor. So yeah, so let's create an app. So how can we do something that, that's the same app from before. So, but let's build it a little bit more. So we can do a fairly naive approach on how to do it using AI. So we've got the system prompt first that extract. So we'll have a user input a list of animals, and the system will first get the animals and then create the script. So what we can do is have this first system prompt that the user will give you the animal names and return it as a comma-separated list. The user tells it, so there will be like saltwater crocodile, then Komodo dragon, cassowary, king cobra, and then that's what we send to LLM. The AI like goes through it, gives me the list, then I can do like just a split by commas, and then I can do a bunch of calls to Wikipedia to create this, like to get a bunch of calls and get the actual info about animals, and then like as a super naive way of doing it is that I can have a another prompt that, hey, respond in Steve Irwin's enthusiastic style, and here are a bunch of articles. So basically you cram all of the articles into the system prompt, and then it will basically create the whole outline for you. So what we had to do is manually first parse what the user wanted, and then create, like do all of the calls ourselves to Wikipedia, and then we wanted to pass it back to the AI, and then it generates like a nice thing. So that would be a super naive way of doing it. I think it's like super error prone. There may be a lot of different ways that the AI responds, and different ways that user inputs, and basically what the user does. So to tackle all of this and have the AI be able to call Wikipedia itself, there is a thing called function calling in OpenAI. So basically you can provide a list of tools or functions that the AI can call, and that can make it much more powerful, so it can get info from other places. But for me, like first time I heard about function calling and haven't really went into how it works and what is it, like it was kind of a magic. Like what's going on in there? Like what is OpenAI doing? So is it like making HTTP requests that I tell it to? So I tell it, hey, this is a function. Here's a link to Wikipedia, do some stuff. Or are those like JS functions that I put there, and it actually goes through and runs the code on the server? Or is it a webhook? So do I tell it, hey, this is the server that you should talk to about this thing, and it will give you back the info, and then you can interpret it and do something with it? Or is it just magic? Like, is there like a Gandalf sitting in there and like doing magic? No, the answer is that it's like super simple. It's JSONs. So here's a list of messages that like a user or a system did with OpenAI. So first we've got a system prompt, then we've got a response from a user, and then what we do is we specify the function calls. So when you use the OpenAI's SDK, you can have the thing called tools, and then you specify functions, and then you say, okay, so there's a function called create user, it will do that and that, and then you've got a few parameters for it, and what the AI can do and how can call it, and it actually calls it. So when you've got a that's like a next response from AI that, hey, I just want to call this function. How do you do it? Not my problem. You handle it. So you can manually make a call to Wikipedia, or you can do any other stuff. There's like a bunch of ways you can call Postgres to create a user for example, for here, or even you can use it for UI. So basically, when you see this function call, you then render the UI, and then to respond to it, you just make another call to the OpenAI API with all of the previous messages. And what you have to do is just like you are the role of tool, and then you've got to call it with the ID that it previously shown here. So here's the ID, and then you have to call it back. And that's pretty much it, how the function calls work. So they're super powerful, and I think super simple. It's just they return a JSON, you send a JSON, they return a JSON, you return another JSON. And what you might have noticed is that actually when you've got the parameters for the function, it has those properties, and those properties look like the way to specify a JSON. So you've got the whole thing where you've got the ID that should be a type of string, first name type of string, and then you've got a bunch of required fields. And yeah, and all of this is basically how it works under the hood. So when you make a call, the initial call from one of the first slides where there was like a ZOT schema in there, there was a response format. Like there is now a response format thing, and there is a whole JSON schema defined of the output. So yeah, JSON schema is like a language for declaring how do schemas, like how should the JSON look like. It's a really long document that looks like this, so it must be good, as all specifications do. And yeah, and so the actual thing that is like was kind of mind-blowing to me how simple it is, that the structure output is actually a special function call. So it's not doing any magic to make the OpenAI or like the GPT or any other models respond in the format you want. It's just making a function call to you, but it's just interpreted as an output. So they already used the whole infrastructure that they had, and it just you've got the whole specification here on how to make it work. So you basically there's this there's a function call that will specify all of the parameters, and when AI calls you back with those parameters, we just treat the call as an output. So yeah, it's like a console log. And yeah, and we've got that. So I actually went a bit prematurely saying about the describe thing. So it's a nice thing that when you actually use the structured outputs, you can use the describe function or method and describe what those fields should actually be. So it's not like just a string, but you can say that it is actually a thing that you want to do. Yeah, that's how you use it. Just like a zout function thing, and that's all. You pass the parameters, and it will return a JSON, a valid JSON. Yeah, they're using this thing under the hood. So as I mentioned in the whole API request, there is a JSON schema, and what they're doing is they've got a schema in Zod and they're transforming it to JSON schema. And yeah, and that's a chart from OpenAI directly. It's pretty old because it's like using GPT-4o and it's like from last year. But they've got 100% success rate with the structured output. So it will for sure return you a valid JSON that you want to have. So like from my testing, and I did it a bunch of times, like it always was good. But also it's really nice to see that like they've seen that it is an issue and additionally trained the model to do it. And then there's a ZOT stream thing. So you might wonder, like when we've got LLM calls, they can be pretty slow. And the way to make them feel faster is to stream the whole response. So basically it goes like character by character. When you've got a ChatGPT, it's like basically going. But how do I do this with JSON? Like it's not a valid JSON. So there is this cool library called ZotStream. And let me show you. So this is a real project I'm doing, and what I wanted to have is so this is a question for an exam, and you can like click this button, and it will check if like will tell you which answer is correct. But I wanted to do a nice UI, and first you can. It's not doing how I want it. So first you will notice that it will turn into Polish. So that's the first thing I ask it to do, is that it checks what language it is. Then it gives me just the correct answer so that I can show it here and quickly check it there. And only then the whole thing is being streamed. So you can make those nice like interactive UIs that like super quickly show you the answer, and then you can get the more and more info that you want. And it will be streamed. Zod stream basically handles everything for you. It will tell you which fields are correct. If it finished, it will automatically like fix the JSON that has already been returned, because it's not full JSON, is like pressure JSON. So and also the thing is that when you specify do I have it? Yeah. So if you specify the schema and you've got the order here of the fields, the OpenAI will follow this order. So if I ask it to first return the language, it will always return the language as the first one. So I can super quickly like change the translations and start showing it in either in Polish or in English. Then I've got just the index of the correct answers, so I know which one are correct. I can quickly show it, so that when somebody is cheating and trying to get the correct answer on the exam, they know it quickly. They don't know why, but they know which one is correct. And yeah, and then there's this thing called instructor, and that's a library that I found even before OpenAI created the whole structured output thing. And that's the thing that they do is that they introduced it first. So they did the whole thinking of using the function calls, and they are actually also implementing the Zod schema. So kind of OpenAI copied from them. The nice thing is that it's still being developed. You can use it with different providers, because from what I know, only OpenAI supports the structured outputs like Anthropic or Mistral, or like any APIs from Together don't support the structured output natively. Okay, didn't know that. But you can use this basically with any model. They also have like another library to talk with other LLMs that don't really follow OpenAI SDKs. So you can use it anywhere. They also have ports to different languages. So I know they have one for Python, and you can use it basically with any LLM. And yeah, and like as an ending note, that's an app which is called Chaps. So those are apps you can chat with. That's the thing we're developing right now at Craft. It's like a semi-experiment, semi-product that we really want to do. And we're experimenting with apps and chats. So basically mixing delightful UIs with LMs and chats and personal productivity apps. So that's basically for everybody, not just for businesses. And yeah, and that's it. Thank you so much.
You asked a question today already. Too many questions from you. Is there any other person who hasn't asked a question?
I have.
Here you go.
I'll be quick. So I'm interested this instructor library.
Yep.
You said it sort of gives the option of structure outputs to any LLM. Does it work with function calls primarily, or is there any other way to achieve that?
No. So it's working with function calls, and from what I know, I think only Llama doesn't like natively support it. Although there are forks of Llama that also support function calling. So basically, any provider right now has function calling and has been trained to use function calling. So yeah, you can
Cool,
use
thanks.
it with anybody. And there's one more question there. All right.
Yeah, so just a tiny correction, like with any open model, you can just do structured decoding, so you can do function calling, whatever you want.
Yep.
So any Llama or anything, Mistral, each and every one of them will support function calling.
Yeah. I think like Llama was the one that like didn't, or at least older versions of Llama. That's what they said in docs. So that's
right.
what I said.
So I can really so there's this cool thing called outlines AI or .txt, and they have really cool tools for like structured output with open models, and I can really recommend it.
Okay, cool.
Thanks a lot, Wojtek. All right, so the time for last question. We have one online. You want? Okay. Yeah, because the online are equal in votes. So you need one.
Okay, thank you for trusting me to ask another question. Anyway, so during the entire talk, I was thinking most of the stuff you just mentioned, it kind of exists as out-of-the-box solution in the Warsaw AI SDK. Have you tried that?
Nope, I haven't. And yeah, that I don't know if they're using it under the hood. Probably.
Yeah. So it's structured outputs for pretty much any LLM that there is. There's streaming. There's everything.
Okay, yeah. So
Give it a
that's
try.
basically what Instructor does as well. Yeah. Yeah. I haven't really played around with Warsaw AI. Yeah.
Thanks. Okay.
Thank you. Big applause for Bartek. Woohoo!
Warsaw.